All right, picture this for a second. You've got a completely unlimited budget. Money? Absolutely no object. And you're in the market for the ultimate luxury SUV. You're not just looking for something to run errands in, right? You want a true statement piece. Well, today, we're bringing you a high-stakes duel between two absolute heavyweight contenders in the ultra-luxury custom automotive world. On one side, we have the sheer brute power of the Brabus GLS 800, and on the other, the undeniable head-turning presence of the Mansory Range Rover P530. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to strip away all the marketing hype and give you a real, honest, data-driven breakdown of these two luxury titans.
Okay, let's dive into this, because before we look at a single horsepower figure or a single square inch of stitched leather, I really need you to ask yourself one foundational question. When you get behind the wheel of a high-end vehicle, what's your ultimate priority? Do you want to experience the raw, adrenaline-pumping thrill of driving? Or is your main goal to command a room, or, well, a street, and be seen in a true VIP status symbol? Keep your answer tucked in the back of your mind, because it's going to dictate exactly which of these two machines wins this duel for you.
To make this comparison super clear, we're doing a classic tail of the tape format. First, we'll meet our ultimate SUVs. Then we'll break down the Brabus, the performance monster. After that, we shift gears to the Mansory, the luxury showpiece. Then we'll throw them into a final, objective head-to-head comparison, before wrapping up with the brutal truth about who should actually buy which one.
Part 1. Meet the ultimate SUVs, setting the stage for the duel. We're cutting through all the flash right now to see what these machines actually are beneath their custom badges.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that neither Brabus nor Mansory actually build their cars from scratch. They're master tuners, right? So they start with an already incredible canvas. The Brabus GLS 800 is built on the formidable Mercedes-AMG GLS 63. That means you're starting with serious German engineering and AMG's racing pedigree. Meanwhile, the Mansory P530 begins its life as a flagship Range Rover. Instantly, we're seeing a clash of base philosophies here. German high-performance architecture going toe-to-toe with iconic British luxury and comfort.
Let's move to Part 2. Brabus, the performance monster. Supercar speed in a 7-seat SUV. And I call it a monster because its entire identity revolves around one mind-bending concept, delivering literal supercar speed inside a massive, heavy family hauler. Just listen to this number: 800 horsepower. That is an absolutely absurd amount of power for an SUV. The Brabus packs a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 that pushes out 800 horsepower and 1,000 newton-meters of torque. To put that into perspective, that's the kind of pulling force you'd expect to find in a heavy-duty semi-truck, but engineered to pin you back into a quilted leather seat. It's literally a rocket ship that just happens to have enough room to take the whole family along for the ride.
And that massive power, it translates directly to the asphalt. For 0 to 100 kilometers per hour sprint, the Mansory is definitely no slouch at roughly 4.5 seconds. But the Brabus, it completely obliterates that, doing it in 3.8 seconds. Let that sink in for a second. 3.8. This massive 7-seater accelerates quicker than a lot of dedicated sports cars, and it's going to keep pulling until it hits about 280 kilometers per hour. It absolutely mathematically proves its claim to the supercar SUV throne.
But you know, Brabus isn't just slapping a massive turbo into a car and calling it a day. The real genius of the GLS 800 lies in its German precision engineering. They operate strictly on a performance over cosmetics philosophy. You aren't just paying for a flashy body kit, you're getting properly engineered, comprehensive upgrades to the engine, the suspension, the exhaust system. Every single modification has a mechanical purpose designed to handle that immense power.
So let's summarize the big wins. Why buy the Brabus? First, the extreme performance. It's genuine supercar-level speed. Second, that rigorous engineering quality we just talked about. Third, despite being a literal rocket, it keeps its daily usability. It's still a spacious, practical Mercedes at heart. And finally, the prestige factor. In the automotive world, the Brabus name commands immense respect for genuine performance tuning, not just showing off. But hey, we promised an honest explainer, so it's time for a reality check. There are some real drawbacks here. Number one, it is incredibly expensive. You're paying supercar money for a family SUV. Second, you are going to burn through fuel like crazy thanks to that big V8 and aggressive tuning. Third, maintenance and parts are highly specialized and very costly. And let's be brutally honest, actually, scratch that, let's just say it. For most buyers, 800 horsepower is complete overkill. You will rarely, if ever, safely use all that power on a public road.
Okay, let's take a breath, smooth things out, and shift our focus to part 3, the Mansory Range Rover P530, the luxury showpiece. If the Brabus is your high-adrenaline performance monster, the Mansory is designed from the ground up to be the ultimate VIP status symbol. Let's peek under the hood of a typical Mansory build. You're looking at a 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 pushing out around 600 horsepower and 800 newton-meters of torque. Now make no mistake, 600 horsepower is fantastic. But compared to the Brabus, it's pretty clear that pushing mechanical limits to the absolute brink isn't the priority here. Instead of a violent rocket ship launch, this engine is tuned for a massive, effortless wave of power that just glides you down the highway. The Mansory is explicitly focused on luxury and cruising smoothly, not setting lap times.
So the crucial point is, why do you buy the Mansory? Well, you buy it for the ultimate luxury experience. Because it starts as a Range Rover, it arguably gives you best-in-class comfort. Think a supremely smooth ride and a whisper-quiet cabin. You also buy it for massive road presence. Mansory designs are bold. People will absolutely notice you when you pull up. It's a much more relaxed, comfortable drive, ideal for long journeys, making it a true VIP status symbol rather than a track day toy.
But just like the Brabus, the Mansory gets its own reality check. Objectively, it's just not performance-focused. It's noticeably slower. Plus, the design, it's highly controversial. Some people absolutely love the flashy aesthetic, while a lot of folks in the car community think it's overdone or even tasteless. You also have to factor in the historically mixed reliability of the Range Rover platform itself. And finally, you're paying a huge premium for tuning that is mostly just cosmetic.
All right, Section 4, the final head-to-head. We've looked at them on their own, but now we're smashing these two totally contrasting philosophies together to look at the objective data side by side so you can see exactly where they diverge.
And this brilliantly illustrates the divide between these machines. In performance, Brabus clearly takes it, with extreme horsepower, while Mansory is more moderate. But for comfort, Mansory edges out as excellent, compared to the very good Brabus. Design-wise, Brabus is aggressive but generally considered classy, while Mansory is undeniably flashy and controversial. Reliability goes to Brabus, thanks to the Mercedes base. However, Mansory claws back major points in daily usability with that insanely smooth ride, and it absolutely dominates the attention factor. It's a total magnet for eyeballs.
Which brings us to part 5, the brutal truth. We've laid out the facts, the good and the bad. Now it's time for an honest, no-nonsense conclusion about who should actually buy which of these incredible SUVs.
Let's move to and see how this builds two incredibly distinct buyer profiles. You choose the Brabus GLS 800 if you want power, speed, and the pure thrills performance engineering. You want a supercar that happens to be an SUV. It is fundamentally built for drivers. On the flip side, you choose the Mansory Range Rover if you prioritize ultimate comfort, luxury, status, and an incredibly smooth ride over raw speed. You love flashy customization. This one is unequivocally for VIP lifestyle buyers.
If you're still kind of on the fence about the underlying vibe of these two machines, it literally all boils down to this one perfect summary statement. Brabus excites you, Mansory impresses others. The Brabus is all about the feeling you get when you stomp on the gas pedal. The Mansory is about the feeling you get when everyone turns their head as you arrive.
We started this whole explainer by asking if you wanted to drive or be seen. Now that we've broken down the data, the engineering, and the luxury of both the Brabus GLS 800 and the Mansory Range Rover P530, I want to leave you with one final thought. If budget was no object, and you had to park just one of these in your driveway tonight, based on what you value most, which one would you choose?